Hello, MGTOW. Hello, men. This is Howard Dare. Thanks for stopping by. So, I want to ask the question, are MGTOW the last respectable men left? But before I go into it, let me tell you, I've been doing some research on sun poisoning, heat stroke, and it turns out, this is very interesting, that if the skin is exposed to too much UV light, and if the temperature of the skin is raised too high for too long, what can happen is that the skin thinks that it's being attacked, and the immune response in the body kicks in. So, as a result of heat stroke, sun poisoning, just serious overexposure to the sun and the temperature, the body can develop cold and flu-like symptoms. And that's what I've been dealing with for the last 3 or 4 days. It's been horrible, right? And it's like, what the hell? I'm not supposed to get colds and flus at this age. So I did a little research, and that's what's going on. Okay, so I just wanted to fill you guys in. I'm getting better. Now, are MGTOW the last respectable men left? And I'm going to say yes on that. And I'm sorry, men. I know that there's a lot of blue pill men out there that are in relationships that are good men. I'm not doubting that. I'm not questioning any of that. But what I'm saying is that in this day and age, when women in general act the way that they act, they have usurped the male role in the relationships and in society, okay? If a man gets together with a woman like that, I don't see how she can respect him. I don't think that he is respectable. I'm sorry. Now, if he knows what he's doing, right? If he is with the woman because he loves her and his instincts are to be with women because he's a real man, if that's why he's with her, then she's playing him. She has him. He is not respectable. He knows he's not respectable. I'm sorry. But if he is aware of his instinctual drives and then says, look, I'm going to get together with the woman and I know that she's going to give me an emotional interpretation of the world. I know that when we're running low on money and the weather is bad, that she's going to talk to me about her feelings. She's not going to be able to do work. She's not going to be able to anticipate the future and then formulate a respectable plan and then carry it out. She's going to talk about her feelings. And if the man allows himself to go down that road, he's ruined. You know, what's he going to do? Is he going to go down that road of a woman and panic with her and have these emotional upheavals with her and be her emotional support? You can't let a woman lead in a relationship. I'm sorry. Especially in this day and age. And especially in this day and age. And what I mean by that is that the women expect to be able to lead, but they can't lead. You know, in my opinion, women represent some of the worst leadership qualities in men. It's as if they look at the man and they say to themselves, what are the worst qualities that this man has? What do I dislike about this guy the most? What do I dislike about men the most? And, you know, it's like you're going to go after all these negative aspects of male nature, aggression, hostility, whatever. I don't even consider them bad. I actually like those qualities. And these qualities are then going to be interpreted in the worst possible light. So then when the woman gets into a position of leadership or she's interacting with a man, she's like bragging and belittling people and grabbing her crotch and spitting. And it's like, oh, really? Oh, that's what you think men do. It's like, oh, that's great. That's great. Now, get out on the field and play the game. It's like, oh, no, she's just a fat, waddling pile of pus. She can't do jack. It's like, no, she can mock the man. She can belittle the man, but she cannot go to war in the man's place. She cannot fill the man's role physically, but she can mock and belittle him. It's a sore loser. You know what I mean? I wouldn't even interact with a man who acts like that. I wouldn't even call a man who acts like that a man. I would call him a boy. And believe me, you run into them all the time. 30, 35-year-old guys that live for female approval. And they have absolutely no masculine pride. Like they have no male friends. They don't understand it, right? It's like, guy, I don't care how much money you have. I don't care how much stuff you have. I care about whether or not you're a decent guy, whether or not you can be a decent friend. And the answer is you can't, because you're too damn egotistical and you're competing with yourself and you're belittling others. So when the man goes into this mode of pleasing the woman and considering the woman his equal, not taking that leadership role, he goes down to her level. He just becomes this male emotional creature. And it shows in his body, too. His body becomes soft and weak, and his attitudes become soft and weak, and he becomes hesitant and indecisive. You know, hanging around with women brings your testosterone down. Seriously. Living with a woman brings your testosterone down. Buying into her bullshit and going along with her mood swings, which if the man is not in a leadership position, that's exactly what he's going to have to do. That's horrible for a man, right? You know, I've been struck by, in doing these videos, it has occurred to me that the way that people interpret the world is different. That largely the woman is interpreting the world from an emotional point of view. How does this make me feel? What do I feel about this? Let me tell you my feelings about this. This is how the woman seems to interact. And the degree to which she can share that with somebody and be intimate with somebody and get this kind of support from somebody is her emotional ties, okay, to that person, all right? Men aren't like that. You know, they can have some bonding, you know what I mean? Like a guy's in trouble and you say to him, look, you know, you got to go to the gym. You got to get this shit off your mind. You got to start hitting a heavy bag and, you know, and really hitting it. Help you lose some weight, help you get your attitude back, help you stop feeling like a little victim in your own life, right? Because what does it mean when this strong man, he's just a tool, he's just a utility. The woman's just using and manipulating him, and he's just working and turning over the profits to the family, to the household, and it's not enough. And she's still belittling him and still mocking him, and so is the rest of the world. No, the position of the man has drastically changed in society over the last 30 or 40 years, whereas if the position of the woman has just gotten better. And the women seem to have no sensitivity to this, no awareness of this, right? They've just bought into this line that men are evil, patriarchal overlords, and it's our turn now. It's like, it's not your turn now. It's never your turn to be the leader. You have to be strong enough to be the leader. Like, I know that a lot of people are disappointed that Hillary Clinton lost the election because it was time for a female president. It's never time for a female president. If you understand what I'm trying to say to you, I am not saying that a woman couldn't be president. She could. She could probably be a good president. But she should never be president simply because she is a woman. That's retarded. That's absurd. Yeah, like we've got to hear about her feelings. So, given this circumstance, given the fact that the young women are trained by their mothers to have complete contempt for men, if a man were to get into a relationship with a woman and turn over this so-called 50% egalitarian control, he's done for. He's not a man. I'm sorry. And the relationship is going to end. You got to know that. I mean, I'm not saying he's not a man. Of course he's a man. But you know what I mean? It's like she's not going to respect that. She's going to push him around. She's going to belittle him. She's going to take advantage of him. Eventually he's going to come up short, and she is not going to allow it. And you know that's the truth. She doesn't even have to do it. You'll do it to yourself because you're a real man. So how is that respectable? Right? It's like a man going out and, you know, buying a car or a pet and then becoming a slave to it. I would do anything for the car. It's like, well, you're getting sick. You're working too hard. But I love the car. Like, well, you just paid 3 or 4 times too much for that car. But I love the car. It's disgusting to see a man acting like that. You can understand a stupid boy acting like that. You can understand a very inexperienced young man perhaps acting like that. But what the hell? How could you continue to act like that? And how could a woman possibly respect a man who acts like that? See, that's the whole thing right there, is that the women are trained to not respect the man and to expect this kind of equal partnership with a man. How's that working out? Seriously, how does that work out? It doesn't work out. Not for the man and not for the woman. So a lot of newer MGTOW say that MGTOW means that men can have nothing to do with women, right? It's like, I'm sorry, guys. It can't work, okay? You're going to be interacting with women every day in the world, and increasingly more and more. Like if you want to go to the hospital, if you want to get something done, you're going to be dealing with women. And this idea that, you know, the MGTOW man, knowing what he knows about female nature, is then going to be hateful towards individual women, that's absurd. What the hell? Why would he have to do that? He knows that she's going to try to, you know, do certain things to take advantage of him. He knows that she's going to appeal to his masculine nature. He knows that she's going to try to shame him into action. I was in the hospital recently talking with a bunch of physical therapists concerning this older friend of mine that I'm trying to help through his health problems and getting him set up in later life. And there was 3 women, and 1 young man, physical therapist. Very strong, very fit young man. He didn't say a single word, okay, the whole time. He just sat there, didn't say a single word. His expression almost never changed, pretty much stone-faced, and that was it. The women took the lead and explained everything to me, okay? No problem. But a lot of the interaction with me was trying to shame me and trying to manipulate me and trying to guilt me. And it would have worked on pretty much most men, on most people, but it's not going to work on me. In other words, the decisions I'm making can't be influenced by self-serving emotional appeals. So if I've decided on a particular trajectory for the bullet, for the shell, someone giving me an emotional appeal, it's not going to change it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to recognize their emotional appeal, I'm going to address their emotional appeal, and I'm going to explain that it's not the consideration. But that's very hard to do, isn't it? It is. It really is. And I want you guys to learn how to do it because people are trying to, I want men to learn how to do this, to stick to their guns, to stick to their commitments, to stick to the things they believe in. It's so hard to do. And you end up paying a terrible, terrible price for it so often. But at the same time, it's the only way, to carry out your own plans in life. So when you apply this towards dealing with women, right? Do you see what I'm saying? That if the man is in charge and he wants to get together with a woman and he knows what's going to happen and he's prepared for what's going to happen, so be it. Let him make the decision that he wants to make. Whatever. It's his decision. It's his life. He's got the knowledge. He makes his own decision. But if a young man is ruled by his emotions, by his pride, by his ego, by his standing within the group that he's largely imagining, you know what I mean? How's he going to stick to his guns? How's he going to, stick to his plan of action? Everything he's doing is based on the approval of others and going along with his feelings. So when he says, I want to save up $100,000, and somebody says to him, you have to loan me $50,000, and if you don't, you're a bad person, what's he going to do? How's he going to feel about that? Is he going to be smart enough and strong enough to say, look, I recognize what you want. It's not my place to give it to you. I'll try to help you, find ways, but I'm not going to do this stuff for you. And I wouldn't want to. It's like Ayn Rand has suggested. The only person worthy of inheriting $1 million is someone who just doesn't even need it. Because if you give it to anybody else, they're going to be like, wow, this means I don't have to work. And then they're going to turn into a fat slob. I think that's how women become when they get married. It's like, wow, I've got this servant, this slave, and he's, all bound up in his emotions, and I don't really care about that stuff. I'm going to work this guy to death. And the guy's willing to do it too. That's the thing. That's what I'm saying. It's not respectable. The man needs to be able to look at the woman and say, look, you're beautiful. I find you attractive. I want to be around you physically from time to time, but everything else, you're just going to have to shut up. And you're going to have to follow my lead. And if you don't want to follow my lead, then go find yourself some man who will do what you tell him to do. Go find yourself a boy. But I've got no interest in fulfilling that role for anybody. So there you go. That's what I was trying to say. Okay. Let me know what you think about this in the comments section below. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, donate, and join me again, Howard Dare, as I plan to have more content for you. Thank you, MGTOW.